All right, we are live. Welcome to another episode of Tenor Money YouTube channel on Tuesday Night Live. Shout out real quick to the folks that are sponsoring this live stream tonight. We have got Bass Braid. It's a high quality 8-strand braid at an affordable price. They just jumped on board a couple weeks ago, so we're happy to have them sponsoring the show. And as always, Baitworks. Been with Baitworks for a while. Baitworks is sponsoring the NPFL. So Big Al knows all about Baitworks. And speaking of Big Al, he's on the other end of the camera there. What's shaking over there, man?
Well, last dance of 2024, stop number 6 here at Lake Murray, down here in South Carolina. It's been first day of practice, first couple days of practice. Weather's been really tough on these anglers. It's been cold, been rainy. It's a lot of wind and stuff. Little bit of adjustment today. It was cloudy. There was some rains in some area. Tomorrow we've got some severe weather that we've got to really watch, but Thursday and Friday should be spectacular. This is a reschedule for the folks that don't know out there from the St. Johns River in Palaca. We had to exactly. Is that the picture of Thrift smoking? Oh no, that's the money saver right there. So that's Richard Key. So
that's nice.
That right there, Richard Key. He's an old soul.
Genius.
And that's just a smart man right there. Richard and I are actually pretty good friends and stuff. I go down and MC an event for him in Memphis, Tennessee for a charity for the local high school down there. Last year I did it. I'm coming back this year, but he knows he's prepared. He was a Cub Scout. Trust me on that.
Oh, bud, I already ordered me a new umbrella and some duct tape, bud. Like it is
just like that.
You're on it.
I'm going to tell you something. Somebody needs to come up with an umbrella that fits inside that seat with a pole that you could store.
Yeah.
So you got to go with the golf umbrella, right?
What's that?
You got to go with the golf umbrella because of the wind.
100%. 100%
if you get a regular umbrella, it's
umbrellas.
just going to flip upside down. But I'm a ex-collegiate golfer, so gotta have your golfer umbrella, and it's got to be secure in there, but it's got to be quick and easy, right? Something that you can pop in and pop out, not get in the way.
Let's reverse roles right here real quick. Collegiate golfer where?
At Missouri Baptist. There's
okay.
NAIA school in Missouri.
No, that's awesome. So currently right now, what's your handicap?
Oh, like 38.
Sandbagger, man. That's a total. Hey, we'll play the front nine. We'll play skins and greenies, but we're going to adjust on the back nine, brother.
So
Dave, that's a bunch of BS.
I coach Little League Baseball, travel baseball. So my golf game is pretty non-existent at this point. I get out. All I do is I play in four-man scrambles on a Friday afternoon or a Monday morning. And maybe we'll play in a couple money games on a weekend. Usually it's team events, scramble, stuff like that. But my days of going out and posting a good number are gone. So lowest I ever got was like a 2 or a 3. I was never
that's pretty impressive right there.
A phenomenal golfer. I was in college with guys that I thought were great, and then I was in high school with golfers that were great. I was in college with guys that I thought were really, really good. And then I had a handful of buddies go down and play in Florida on the mini tours. And
that I've seen a lot of golfers over the years that don't even sniff the Korn Ferry Tour or the PGA, and these guys can flat out play, and it's amazing.
Oh, the 3 best golfers in the area are my 3 team partners when I play in these scrambles.
Sandbagger.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. One of the guys, I say that. 2, it's me and usually 2 other guys, and then we have a money guy. The guy that likes to win all the golf tournaments, so he compiles a great, great team. I used to be one of those really good ones, and now I'm the next guy in line that hits the ball a long way. But yeah, it's
Andy's got the right idea.
Yeah,
Andy's got the right idea. I'll tell you, real quick before we go back to the bass fishing, because I know that's what the folks want to hear. So a crazy story. About 10 years ago, I played in a golf league with my pop and his bar buddies, saloon buddies, and he got his first hole-in-one on the 18th at Columbia, Illinois. And then almost a year to the day, I got my first hole-in-one on the same hole.
Awesome.
My dad.
Yeah. Wow. That was with your dad, you said?
What's that?
You got to watch your dad get his first one?
No, I did. I was in the group behind him when he got it. And here's the kicker. Skins and Greenies during that time. And Dave Billett, God rest his soul. My dad and him are up there in heaven probably playing golf right now. He hit the green. He was about 6 inches away, and he was like, oh, I got that greenie, boys. My dad got that hole in one, and he goes, well, you son of a gun.
I love it. I love it. I've played a lot of golf in my life, and I'm still yet to accomplish one. I've had some very, very close calls. I've knocked them in from the fairway on a par fives and got a couple of albatrosses, but never knocked one in from a tee. I mean,
so just to tell your folks for this event, as far as live coverage goes, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, the weigh-ins will start. And then on Thursday and Friday from 9 Eastern to 2 Eastern, we'll have coverage live on the water. And then Luke and Fat Cat up in Appleton, Wisconsin will give you the play-by-play for the event. A lot of big names out there. You know, some guys are talking about, you know, you're looking anywhere from 57 to, 63 pounds that could win this thing. So it should be interesting on this herring lake. 66?
I said 75. I say 66 pounds.
All right, we're gonna get those guesses.
Dylan doesn't talk a lot at all.
No. So here's what I like to do, guys. Nobody wants to listen to what I have to say. We're gonna bring on Big Daddy.
20 minutes already.
No, 5 minutes, you jackass. Here's the deal. We're gonna bring on Big Daddy Brian Hatfield from Spring City, Tennessee. He is a huge volunteer fan. I mean, Kentucky Wildcat fan. He always gives me crap. And he's got a great little bait company, and he's got a new little promo going on, and he's going to tell you about what he's been doing this week. Appreciate both of you guys for giving us the opportunity to spread the NPFL news.
Good talking with you, brother.
Thanks, Big Al.
There you go. You got JB, and you got Gabe.
What's up, fellas?
What's going on, my man? How are you?
Hey, good.
Yeah. How's things looking out there on the pond?
That ain't looking too bad, I guess. Bad weather coming in.
Yeah. What is the weather looking like?
Show.
Say again.
This is a family-friendly show.
Oh, you're good, dude. You're good. You're good, man.
It's gonna be after this one.
Oh yeah, we'll get some new fans, and we'll lose.
13
okay?
for sure.
It all flushes out, man. It's all good. See, what you got? Rain coming tomorrow, or you got a chance of like?
Yeah, we got bad rain and wind tomorrow, and then it's going to get cold and sunny. So,
okay.
Is the weather that's coming in going to potentially affect the going out tomorrow?
Mute.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, it's only going to blow like 10 or 12 in the morning, so I think they're going to turn us loose.
Okay. Not going to blow like 40 or 50 in the afternoon.
No, it says 30 miles an hour, but that's later in the day, I think.
I got you. Does that affect your plans for tomorrow?
Oh, absolutely. I think it affects everybody's plans. Has to, pretty good sized lake. It's going to get pretty rough. I mean, today I just went and looked for some stuff that was going to be out of the wind tomorrow.
I got you.
Yeah.
Planning on for tomorrow. So, and everybody's spotlighted. So,
yeah. So
we got one more chance, right?
That's going to affect that a little bit.
What's the water temperatures and like clarity and lake level, that kind of stuff?
The water's real clear everywhere. Well, up the river, I think it's a little bit dirty, but I didn't go up there. That's just what everybody else told us. The water's, 60s, 58, 60, somewhere around there?
Projecting a small craft advisory at 10 o'clock.
Oh, they are?
43 mile an hour.
I don't think they'll send us out for the projection.
Well, they're saying they're projecting the small craft advisory.
Really?
At 10 a.m. tomorrow. So we may not go
Yeah.
for
10 a.m. to 30
Yeah, that's pretty stout, man. I mean,
40 mile an hour winds. There's what they're saying there.
Gus.
Gus.
For that hour period.
We got to go, Big Al.
We're going.
We're going. Al says we're going.
We're Warriors.
Well, Sean said we're going, and Brad.
We're Warriors.
Be interesting. See what happens.
You'll be fine. Wear your life jacket.
Somebody's going to get them.
It's funny. We talk about some wind advisories and some small craft advisories. I've been tournament fishing for a while. I know Gabe has too. I'm sure you have too. Like, I don't remember growing up us getting a lot of these small craft advisories for wind. It was just like full send, right? Now, there's some days I appreciate it that we didn't go out. I can tell you that.
Look like you're a spring chicken, so we didn't have all this information a long time ago.
True. It was you're back in the cove, and all of a sudden the leaves turn white, and you're like, something ain't right.
Oh yeah, time to go in, boys. Seek shelter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's like on the Weather Channel when they have some sort of a wind advisory or snowy, you know, wintry mix or whatever. They'll say this is going to affect 1.3 million people. They give this number of how many people are going to be affected by this winter storm. And you didn't hear that years ago. It was just like there's a heavy storm coming in, and you know, go to the grocery store, get your stuff, and buckle down. It's going to be a minute.
Well, now we got all this telephone, you know, all the information that you can get at your fingers, you know.
Yeah, you get these alerts come up on your phone.
Yeah, sure. Tells you seek shelter.
Yep.
Yeah,
which is good and alarming at the same time.
I hope we go fishing tomorrow. It should be interesting. The guys that's going to fish shallow in the grass, it's going to give them a chance to do good tomorrow. You know, the other 2 days is going to be, I mean, it's going to be spotlighting,
Monica Lewinsky.
scoping fish out deep. That's just what it's going to be.
Monica Lewinsky.
Monica Lewinsky.
Under the table, baby.
Little cigars.
Same way every other tournament's been won.
You know,
Nick Brown texted me a while ago, and he said, "Tell them 4 boys I don't want to see them out there scoping tomorrow."
Really? Well,
He said what?
tell him 4 boys. Nick Brown said that.
Tell him nobody out. He doesn't want to see anybody out there scoping tomorrow.
Oh, well, I think we got a couple boys in here in this group.
Yeah.
One of them ain't. I ain't gonna say which 2 are, but
So
we're gonna be spotlighting for sure.
What all cover is available on that lake? That's a new lake to me. So what are you seeing out there? Is it just
There's actually some grass, deep grass. Yeah, so I mean, it's just a typical South Carolina big long points, you know, deep water herring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's nothing like the Tennessee River.
is that grass just topped out, or is it?
No, I haven't seen any of it. There's some bank grasses topped out, but most of that, I don't even know what kind of grass it is. There's some mealgrass. Do y'all know what that grass is called?
It's almost like a coontail, or it looks kind of like peppergrass a little bit. It's like a mix between peppergrass and like coontailish grass. It's kind of weird.
But it grows really, really deep.
It grows really thick.
That sounds like a good combination for some bad weather that's coming in.
Yeah.
At least for this time of the year, bad weather and grass is a really good combination for me. So.
Yeah. Hey, you know Brent Anderson?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think he's from Spring City.
Yeah, he's from the western part of Kentucky.
Okay.
Back in my a long time ago, Kentucky Lake days, I know him.
Yep. Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
he was the man on Kentucky Lake there for a while.
Oh yeah, he's extremely hard to beat anywhere on the Tennessee River, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's a good dude.
He did his stint at Pickwick too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's been guiding up on the St. Lawrence River, and I think he won a Toyota Series last year, I believe. Maybe it was last year.
He won the Toyota Series.
Yeah.
On the St. Lawrence River.
Yep.
I think he goes there in the summertime and guides.
Yeah, he does. You're right.
Yeah, good fella.
Yeah, I think he spends his last couple of years. He spent his winters, I think, down in Texas on a private lake. I want to say
Florida.
Florida.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Florida.
Like Viero or
some
Viero,
kind of,
I think.
yeah, some kind of private stuff in Florida. Yeah.
I knew it was warm weather.
Joey, where was Brent Anderson guiding at before? Remember?
I thought it was Kissimmee, right?
No, some kind of
private.
private.
Oh, is it?
It's out in the phosphate pits.
Yeah.
Some kind of phosphate pits they're saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, where you guys at? In Oklahoma?
Southeast
No,
Missouri.
we're in Missouri.
Missouri.
About 100 miles south of St. Louis, right on the Mississippi River.
Oh, okay.
So we fish. We fish BFLs, or I fish BFLs on Kentucky Lake, Lake of the Ozarks, Table Rock, that kind of stuff. And then we do a lot of fishing over in Southern Illinois. There's a lot of smaller lakes over there, so that's where we spend most of our time. But we just kind of stay somewhat local. BFLs are about all we do right now.
Yeah.
Just cheaper. Bass fishing gets expensive, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Unless you're smacking them like the Bass Warrior.
Yeah, Bass Warrior. Bass
I'll
Warrior.
tell you what, for me, for both of it, it's family, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. A lot of time away, that's for sure.
Yeah, I got a 5-year-old and a 10-year-old, so it's it would be great to get out there, but then again, you don't miss opportunities to be with them either. So
yeah.
So what do you do for you're not a full-time fisherman, right? You do something else on the side?
I do this to blow off some steam and have a good time.
Yeah.
We got Hatfield Construction, which is a concrete. We do concrete there in Spring City around for Y12 and the TVA, and then we have Big Daddy Baits, which we sell quite a bit of stuff through Big Daddy Baits all over the country.
Yeah, I was looking at the website a while ago before we got on here. Got some pretty unique baits.
Yeah, we got the new thing, the booger spin right there that you're showing. Chris Malone won the Coastal Championship on that on Lake Cumberland. He won $250,000.
Oh, no kidding on this one right here, huh?
Yes, sir.
it's kind of like a little George, isn't it? With the
That's all handmade. We make that right in our shop at Spring City.
Okay.
That's pretty sweet. I like that.
Yeah, so it's a fish catcher.
I need to probably pick some of those up. That's something that we got a lake around here where they get offshore in the winter. Pretty good. You get some big schools, and that's you kind of got to, after a while, you got to throw something a little bit different. That's a little bit different.
Yeah,
that skirt on there.
That'll catch them anywhere. And then we got the Dayton, another famous thing we have. We have the Dayton Boat Dock Alabama rig, which Dayton is in Dayton, Tennessee. That's the one Raji Brown caught the 49 pounds on Lake Chickamauga.
Okay, that's the bait. This one here, I think, is the baby one.
Yeah, that's the baby. The double rig. The double rig's the one Raji.
Oh, that one right there.
Yeah, that's the one that was real hot for a long time.
Dude, that's a lot of bling on that.
Yeah, it's got 8 blades.
Wow.
That's got a plastic head, and we manufacture all that right in our shop at Spring City, Tennessee.
How long you been doing that?
It's probably going on 10 years now. We got started with the hair jig, and it just kind of blossomed from there, and here we are. That's our marabou jig.
Got some fluff. That's a smallmouth killer right there.
But our new thing that we've really been doing good on is our Spotlighter series. That's just that's the Tennessee River hair jig.
What's your best selling color in that hair jig?
White.
Just that one right there.
Yeah, and the sexy shimmer does real good.
Yeah, I like that sexy shimmer.
Now that one right there is something we come up with our own self. Put it back on the next one.
Right here.
Yeah, look at that son of a gun.
What is that? What's that called?
Smoke.
Oh, that's gizzard shad.
Smoke them. That's smoke them. Yes, sir.
That's pretty sweet, man. I like that little. That you got a little bit of like silicone tied in that.
No, that's all Flashaboo and Deertail.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was seeing that there's little strips that got a little bit of variegatedness to it, I guess, like the little stripes. It looks like
that one's pretty.
Yeah, that's the Flashaboo.
Okay, yeah, it is. Okay, I see it now.
Yeah.
Dang, that's cool, man. I like that.
But
real loud there.
The hair jig has really been that's just a Tennessee River staple. All the pro guys that they use our hair jig. And the new thing, this is our newest bait out. It's called the Spotlight Shad. We that's why we call everybody Spotlighters. We all got spotlight hats.
Oh yeah.
Spotlighters.
Block it would be proud of you calling it a spotlight.
Oh yeah. Well, I actually trademarked the name Spotlighter, so I own the name for Spotlighter for any kind of fishing lure. So
really,
yes, sir.
That looks good right there.
So that is a tungsten. That's a tungsten head.
Okay.
And we had a jig head that goes with it too. So, you know, in this day and time, really, as a small bait company, that's about the only thing you can sell. To be honest with you.
What size hook is on that?
I think there was a 2-aught hook.
Okay.
It works good with the little small Dumiki or the freeloader. And all that is our jig head that we took and tied. You know, we tied up. We hand tied that. Yeah, it's a pretty unique bait.
So that's made to put a minnow on the back of it?
No, sir.
Like
that's made to throw just exactly like that. You don't need anything. You just need
it's almost just a smaller hair jig with a little more flash in it.
Yeah.
That's marabou on the back?
Yeah.
Or deer. Okay. Marabou.
That's marabou.
Okay. Huh. You got a nice variety of stuff on there. And you got
click on the hooks. I'll show you a unique hook. The tungsten jig heads. Should be down there by the.
That's a shaky head.
Yeah, that's a shaky Ned. But there you go, right there.
Okay.
So there's our hooks. We got them in 1/8 quarter and 3/8 ounce. So now we got a big one that's pretty unique that nobody else has too. If you a big hook.
The Magnum.
There's one that see that.
Yeah.
So that is 3/16 and 3/8, but that's made to throw the big 5 and or 6 and 7 inch Shakamako shad or whatever that is. Yeah. Nobody makes a hook to go in that. So that there you go with tungsten. So you know that's a big thing on the Tennessee River. They throw that bigger bait to get a bigger bite.
That Magnum has a heavier gauge hook in it, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But it still hooks them good on the spinning rod. You can throw that on a spinning rod easily.
It doesn't look like it's overpowered. I think in that picture, it just looks like it's the shadow behind it makes it look a little bit beefier than it really is.
Yeah, that's a 5/aught.
Okay.
Huh. And then you got is that the grams that are written on the side of the head? It's like
that one there will be a 3/16.
Okay.
And then we have
3/8, same one.
Yeah.
7.0. Okay. Huh. Yeah, you're right, man. It is hard to find a big hook in a light jig head. You know, like a 3/8 or an 1/8 ounce jig head.
Sure.
So that makes a big difference. And you got shaky heads and that's cool, man.
A little bit of everything in there.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, we just kind of been adding as we go, you know. We try to go to several shows a year. You're gonna like that one. We call that the hairy buzzer. That's probably the best buzz bait you ever throwed out there.
Looks like it skips pretty good.
It skips good. Then something about the hair, it really makes them come after it like they.
Yeah.
That's bucktail.
Okay. You got some spinner baits. Spinner baits don't work anymore, though.
No, they don't work.
I wouldn't throw them
I
ever.
probably won't have one of them on tomorrow.
Especially with it being windy. They only work good on calm days.
Yeah.
Windy and grass, I mean, you just gonna fight it all day long.
Nah.
Cool. Got some apparel and
yeah, we got the new Spotlighter hats on there for all them young Spotlighter kids that want some. There you go.
That's good, man.
It's been a hit so far. I just got them last week, so everybody wants one.
I like it, man.
I will send Randy one.
There you go, man. Is that a Flex Tech hat? Okay. People are picky about their hats.
Yeah, there's a Richardson 112 flat bill.
Yeah,
you got to have the Richardson.
That's what I'd be wearing.
Yeah.
Got to have the Richardson. And then that
there's the old school, rope pack.
that style right there. I just can't get behind it anymore, man. I just can't do it.
You ain't gonna do that one.
It's coming back, man. It's coming back. Cool.
Hold on. You know how many hats my daddy made me wear like that growing up? Like
old trucker hat. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We had a whole slew of them there at the house, and they were, growing up, it was a pink, neon pink or neon green, from the early 80s. I'm sure Dad got it at a sports show somewhere and didn't like it. So I got
there
stuck.
You go. Have this, boy.
Oh yeah.
You going to be at the East Tennessee Fishing Show?
Yes, sir. I'm going to be at the East Tennessee. We're going to the Raleigh Fishing Show, the East Tennessee Fishing Show, and the one in somewhere in South Carolina. I don't know. Somebody else makes all.
We need to try to get out to that East Tennessee Fishing Show.
The East Tennessee Fishing Show is a really
terrible
good show.
Terrible show.
Terrible show.
All right. I heard it here first.
It's like 7-hour drive, though, I think.
Best one ever.
I think it's like 7-something hours. We're going to the we got one up in Collinsville, Illinois. It's decent. It's not as near as big as the East Tennessee, though.
Yeah, but we're also talking to Gabe, who hasn't been to the Classic either. So
no, I got a long list of I got a long bucket list. I got to take care of some stuff. I'm not going to live to be 120. I got to get it done.
Absolutely.
Basilla says, "Hey boys, my house. All Hatfield does is spotlight them."
Who's that? Basilla. Is that Stu?
That's Dylan.
Oh Lord. That's Stu on there.
Let me ask you a couple questions before we wrap it up. These are going to be random. I just wrote down some questions. I thought, well, normally we just kind of freeball it and go with that, but I figure I'd be a little more proper tonight and ask a few questions. What do you think, in your opinion, is the most overrated bait out there? And then the most underrated bait.
The most overrated bait.
Yeah. Totally threw you for a loop there. Like went from just relaxing, looking at baits on the website to boom, a serious question.
That's a tough one. The most underrated bait I can tell you is the minnow.
The jig head minnow?
Absolutely.
Underrated?
Underrated.
Okay.
And it has been for years, I mean, it's just took effect since the LiveScope. But, if you would have had that years ago and just fished it, there's no telling what you'd have caught.
Yeah. Well, even the last year, it's gotten a lot tougher to catch them on it. I was throwing it last year, and man, I had some really good days on it, and then it's gotten I mean, you can still catch them, no problem, but it's definitely gotten tougher. I've seen a lot more fish just kind of duck, let it go by, and come back up behind it, and you used to not see that. So they're seeing it a lot more, but it's still a dang minnow. I mean, they eat minnows.
You think that that's the cause of the lot or the bait?
I think it's because of the boat pressure.
I think it's because of the lot. I think them same fish that you're catching on the minnow can feel that lot.
You're talking about the combination, right?
Well, sure. I mean, how can they not? They got a lateral line. You're shooting a ray out at them. I mean, they're going to get used to it. I know for a fact on the Tennessee River they get used to it. So you pull to a stool and show them, and they'll leave. I mean, how can the individual fish on a brush pop or whatever, well, they know you're there,
Right. I think a lot of it, like Gabe was saying, I think a lot of it has to do with a lot of the pressure too. A lot of those fish never saw a boat stop.
Sure. Absolutely.
So, you stop it's a combination of the both.
Combination of both. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You got something that's pinging at you, but you also got this big 21-foot shadow that comes over the top of you, and all of a sudden Bill and George and are gone, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
What the hell just happened? I got to get out of here. So, but yeah, I think it's a whole combination of everything. And then plus, those fish that were out there, those were untouched for years and years and years, right? Like,
yes.
And I'm not talking ledge fish on the Tennessee River. I'm talking about fish that are just sitting out in the middle of the lake, just chilling. They come up one time a year to go do their thing on the bank, and then they're back out there.
Yeah.
But man, there's nothing that's a secret anymore. That's for sure. That brush pile you knew about, everybody knows about that brush pile.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's the same thing in Tennessee river fishing. You know, there ain't no secrets there. Everybody's got the same stuff and the same mapping, and you know, everybody knows where everything is. A long time ago, they didn't know that.
Oh yeah, it's changed. You talk to anybody that's been fishing those rivers for a while, and it's changed it up a bunch. You know, guys that used to triangulate and use marker buoys and stuff and spend days and days and days trying to find the sweet spot on a ledge and a drop off. And then as soon as they release the mapping, people just come right up, scan it, drop a dot on it.
Know exactly where it's at now.
Yeah. That's probably changed things more than anything, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to next year with you know, without the scope, and see what can go on, and you know, just really looking forward to not having to use it, to be honest with you.
I think it'd be fun. I think it was a good business decision. I mean, there's some people that are disappointed, but I think it's another option out there in the tournament bass fishing world that people can choose to go that route, or they can go, you know, you got more variety now. And I think that's good. I think it's always good to have more options out there. In my opinion.
What do you guys think?
I'm ready.
I'm ready whenever he wants to ask.
I'm a spotlighter.
We got a couple of spotlighters over here.
Are you gonna wrap the boat in a spotlighter wrap next year, right?
I've got a spotlighter on it right now.
You're gonna wrap it next year. It's gonna be a spotlighter wrap too, right?
Yes, more than likely. Half of it is.
Good deal.
It's gonna be lighter.
All right, what do you think the winning weight's going to be?
I think probably somewhere around 65 pounds.
Okay,
I may be wrong.
65 pounds.
23.
You gonna write that? Joey says 23.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna ask everybody when they get on here. And
well, they're copycats, so they're gonna tell you the same thing I did because I'm the old guy.
Well, hopefully it's 65 over 2 days, right? Because
yeah, let's hope so. I think that you know, tomorrow's going to be good. I think, and then the other 2 days, it's got to be tougher. It has to be. It always is. With the front coming through and the cold weather, you know.
2 more questions.
Okay.
What's something that you learned in 2024 that you're going to take with you into 2025?
2024. Make sure to always go with your gut.
Go with your gut. I like it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I made a couple really bad decisions at some places that, you know, it cost me a check.
Is that just sitting in a place too long? And
no, it's one place. One in particular was Saginaw Bay. You know, I had some smallmouth way out there on the lake. The first day, it was just completely awful. I mean, you know, 5 miles out in the lake, it was just beating the tar out of it. And at the moment that I got out there, I'm like, let's go to the bank and go largemouth fishing. Forget about all that crap out there. And what I do? 2.5 hours later, I got to my fish. Yeah, beat up, back hurting, you know, dumb. Just go with your gut, man. That's all you got to do, you know. Something tells you something, do it.
And then sometimes when you got 2 things in your head, you can't focus on the one that's right in front of you. You know, you're constantly thinking about that other thing.
Been a whole lot easier to just go do that. I would have beat my stuff up. You know, got a way longer day to fish.
Yeah.
15 pounds a day was good. No, I got to be hard-headed and try to catch 30.
Well, it's kind of like that old saying. You got to know what's going to win, and you got to know what's going to get you paid, right?
Yeah, but I'm not the guy that I don't look at that bottom weight.
Well, and I know that, but in some of those situations, you know, after 4 or 5 days of practice, 3 days of practice, you know if you're on a chance to win, or if you need to get paid this week, because at the end of the year, what you guys are fighting for this week is Angler of the Year, and it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You guys gotta hang in there the whole time. So
yeah, that's probably another lesson I need to learn too.
That's a tough one too, because a lot of the derbies that we fish are single day derbies, and going from a single day to a multi-day derby, that makes a big difference. Whether
I'm a home run hitter. I'm not. I don't shoot for percentage.
You're gonna swing every time, right?
You look at my past, I either do really good or I'm really bad. One of the two.
Go big or go home.
That's right.
All right, one more question for you.
Okay.
This is a question I've asked guests in the past. If you had one lure that you could fish for 2 hours and the fish were absolutely going to crush it, any time of the year, any body water, you tie that lure on, you go to the lake for 2 hours and you're going to crush them on it, what lure would that be?
Oh, it's the minnow. Absolutely.
The minnow?
Absolutely. Spotlight or no spotlight. I'm taking the minnow.
I don't know if I believe that.
Absolutely. Disappointed. Big Daddy, and I'm disappointed.
You got all these cool birds
now. It took me a long time. I'm just telling you, I have every way I can to get away from that minnow, but there ain't no getting away from it. That minnow will come into play next year with no spotlight.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's interesting. Yeah, I've told people that I mean, years ago, people used to put a fluke on a jig head and throw it out and reel it in and catch fish. It's the same thing. You just weren't seeing it.
I wish I'd have known about that a long time ago on the Tennessee River. Fishing the deep shell bars and stuff. You could absolutely torque them.
But you did. You just had a scrounger on the front of it.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
I know, but it's about the closest as you can get to it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you think if someone would have, if that bill would have came off that scrounger, because it sits in the sun for a while and that bill just kind of falls off. If they would have kept throwing it without the bill on it.
Yeah.
I bet somebody did. I bet somebody absolutely wrecked
them. They might have it. They just didn't tell nobody about it.
Yeah. Somebody's a little too
there's
tight.
No secrets back then on the Tennessee River, right? Nobody ever had a secret bait that they ever threw around.
Nah.
There was a whopper plopper that got thrown in the bottom of a boat for 2 years before anybody ever knew about the whopper plopper in September.
Well, that big Ben Parker spoon, I remember when that came out. That had already people have been throwing that around for quite a while down there in Kentucky.
Yeah. Hey, my buddies are texting me asking why you're on there so
long. Oh yeah, my wife sent me a message about the most overrated plug.
Yeah.
Whopper plopper.
Whopper plopper. I would
agree with that.
I would agree with that being top 3 or top 5 for me.
Sure.
Yeah.
They but one place that's out there where y'all's at. You can catch them on that thing.
Yeah, it's a big one on Lake of the Ozarks and Table Rock, but it's not as good as it used to be.
Dylan Freeze, you're up next. Let's go.
Do it. Hey, it was good talking with you, man.
Hey, good talking to you guys.
Good luck this week. Good luck this week.
I need it. Thanks, guys.
You betcha.
All right, man.
Come on, Dylan.
Drink one of those ultras for me.
Couple ultras for you.
Next.
What's going on?
What's up? How are you?
Going, man?
What up?
Double trouble, huh?
Oh yeah,
double.
This is the quiet one.
Who's the one that fell in the lake?
Him.
How did that happen? I saw the
falling in the water.
Is there footage of this, or is this just hearsay?
No, it was right place, right time for the cameraman though. No video camera. But, yeah, it was Hartwell, day one.
Was it cold?
Yeah, I tried to boat flip a 3-pounder like an idiot, and on the drop shot, it didn't work out too well.
Yeah. Well, you sacrificed yourself for the fish.
Yeah, had to.
Yeah, Tubby went over.
Did you get the fish?
Yeah, I got the fish.
Okay,
that's all that
matters, right?
Yeah, and then I sat there like this with him pressed against my stomach and tried to figure out how I was going to get back in the boat. And I just swam to the back and threw him over the back deck down in the middle and climbed up the power pole.
Climbed up the power pole?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you could.
It was fight or flight, man.
that almost we got some good inventions tonight. You almost need to put you a up and down button in the back on the power pole.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
If you fall out, you just hang on to her and you just
crane lift. Yeah.
Right back into the boat.
A ladder
That's
pole.
Dude, that's money.
a ladder pole, dude.
You can just like leave it strapped to your harness it to your rain suit, and it just like follows you around everywhere you walk on the boat.
Yeah, I mean that's one way to do it.
You know, the easier way is just to stay on the carpet, not in the lake.
Yeah. Just don't boat flip on 6-pound test. Not really a hard task. But,
So, what do you guys think about the lake? How you feeling about going into tomorrow?
I love it, man. I mean, day one of practice was pretty good for me. I've never been here before, but just kind of had to piece it together and had a pretty good day one, and just expanded on it day two, and had another good day two. So, and today it rained a little bit. It was a little harder with the rain, but I mean, it's still. I mean, this lake's full of fish. I mean, they're everywhere. You can pretty much catch them doing whatever you want. But I think it's great. I think there's a ton of big fish in it. I think there's going to be some big bass caught this week.
Yeah. How's the wind going to affect your pattern?
It's going to be hard. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're spotlighting. So, it's the biggest thing is the areas that have the wind are going to it's going to be too hard to do anything in. You're not going to be able to really move around much. And if you do, it's just positioning, everything. It's going to be difficult. But I mean, it's going to be bad. It's going to 43 mile an hour winds. I mean, you can't avoid that.
Dude, just sent me that.
This guy show me stuff.
Dude,
we got to give Stu more shout out.
Yes, Stu, come on now.
Yeah, Stu just sent us a text. We got to give him a shout out. He's not here. He's not with us. So
shout out to Stu.
Yeah, he's texting me funny stuff. So
he's in the comments over here.
Love you, Stewie.
Yeah,
he's the only one.
Nah, what are you talking about? I don't spotlight.
I don't spotlight at all.
I spot beam him.
I'd rather
straight up.
Looking forward to next year, that's for sure.
What do you think, Dylan? How'd it go out there today? How's it been going practice-wise, Dylan?
I had a decent first day. It's hard for me to go out there and chase fish around in the middle of nowhere. It's never been my thing, and I can't get my head around it, and I don't like it. I guess I'm gonna try it this week, but if it was a striped bass tournament, I would have set the world record yesterday for weight. I went out there and I thought I was on them, man. And every cast, the first 5 I threw to were 8 to 10 pound stripers, and I was like, I guess I don't do it enough. I got to learn the difference in what they look like, I think. And it's just, to me, I'm just at this level, you got to do it. And I'm kind of glad we're not going to have it next year. It takes you back to old school, man. And I've never been shy about my opinion on that. It's just not me. I've never been one to do it. I got it because I have to have it on the boat. And my buddies at home, I'm from Ohio, man, Cincinnati. Nobody spotlights in Ohio. It's Lake Erie is about it, man. And, and my buddies try and use it. We use it different ways in Ohio, man. We use it structurally, if that makes sense. Yeah. And I've gotten a lot better with that. Like, I use that a lot more than I use it for chasing roamers. Mm-hmm. I think this tournament's going to be a roamer deal. I don't think you're going to see guys weighing in 25 to, I'm going to go out on a limb and say 33 pounds is potential for a big bag here. I think that there's the possibility of that. I know It sounds awesome. I know it sounds stupid, but knowing what's in this place and I just think
high 20s for sure. You can see that coming in.
High 20s every day, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Tomorrow is going to be the iffy just because of wind and boat positioning and having to fight for them and stay on them. Someone's going to get lucky enough to catch 5 really good ones. And I know, I don't think Brian touched on this. There's a lot of local guys in this tournament. I fished the river very thoroughly today, and I fished the midsection and the lower half wishy-washy for 2 days. And I think that somebody locally knows how to catch 25 or more up in the river. Yeah. And I think they know how to do it at the bottom of the lake too. And I think that with that wind tomorrow is going to help that person, if that makes sense. I think
the river.
Because the river fish, I don't necessarily know if they're going to replenish the way the roamers, not that roamers replenish, but there's not a lot of them up there, but the ones that are up there, they're good ones.
Well, I was looking at the extended forecast here, and it looks like your Thursday, Friday is setting up for a scoping event, right?
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
I think tomorrow. I'm not saying that I could be completely wrong here, but I think tomorrow someone's going to go up one of them river arms and have a sack early. I mean, I can just see it happening. I can see it happening shallow down at the by the dam too. I heard Brian touch a little bit on some grass. That grass, I think there's a lot of fish in it. I don't know if there's a lot of big ones, but I wouldn't put it past anyone in this event to have a 31 pound bag.
It sounds like what you guys are telling us that it's setting up for a guy that's going to be able to do a little bit of both, right? But you got to have that first day plan of going in and getting dirty with him, probably getting a little bit shallower tomorrow and trying to put a big bag in the boat early, and then spend the next 2 days out spotlighting.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, like the way there's definitely big fish shallow. There's definitely big fish in grass. There's big fish roaming around. There's big fish on brush. I mean, the biggest thing that I think is really utilizing your day one out here, especially with how bad the wind's going to be. And the guy that can go out there and figure out how to catch that 22, 25 pounds tomorrow and then back it up with just two, 18 to 20 pound days the next 2 days is really going to
do good. You're going a little lighter than I think.
Well, I mean, no.
You're being realistic.
I mean, the biggest thing, I think it's going to take a lot of weight to win this tournament. But, if you look at it, tomorrow's setting up to be a big fish slugfest, in my opinion. You mean, you got the wind, you got the rain. I mean, everything is moving. The bait's moving. I mean,
it wouldn't shock me.
Everything's going to be feeding.
Right.
So, when you have these next 2 days where there's light wind and there's no rain, it's bluebird sky. I mean, it's completely just 180. I mean, everything's completely different. So it's just, it's going to be wishy-washy on the weights, I think, going into the Thursday, Friday.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like you got maybe some cloud cover coming in Friday too. No precipitation, but
light winds, it looks like the rest of the week. Tomorrow.
I just think there's a lot of variables that are going to go into how you win this tournament. And like Joey said, I mean, there's certain guys that are going to live and die by just chasing single fish. But I've been telling them all week, I think that there is a potential for a very large bag skinny somewhere in this lake, and somebody's going to find them. I had a couple bites the first day. It kind of shocked me. And I didn't set on them all, but they felt good. I caught one of them. I haven't seen a fish under 4 pounds. I don't even think he has. I mean, he might have, but I don't know.
No, every fish I caught in practice was a good one. I mean, anywhere from 4 to 5 pounds.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're solid, healthy fish out here for sure. I mean, the big issue is, getting a lot of bites.
The numbers is the hardest part.
Yeah. Are you seeing a lot of that caliber fish? Are you looking at a lot of fish and just casting at the bigger ones?
Yeah.
How do you approach that?
I'm seeing a ton of different fish. There's a lot of fish out here in this lake. I mean, you got striper, you got catfish, you got crappie, you got herring, you got shad. I mean, it's so hard sometimes to distinguish between which is which, especially striper and catfish. You could be chasing fish that look like bass the whole time, and they act like bass. They'll chase your bait back and everything. I mean, even hit it, and they just won't ever get it. So it's like, you'll waste your time on a lot of fish versus, actually pulling up and being like, oh, these are bass, they're going to eat. Yeah. So it's just, it's going to be one of those where you're going to throw at 100 fish or more in a day, and you're going to get 5 or 6 bites, and hopefully those 5 or 6 bites are good. I mean, you could get 5 bites chasing, throwing at 100 fish and they're 10 pounds worth of fish, or you could throw at 5 fish and you could get 25 pounds. I mean, it's just, that's what's, it's
or you could throw at 500 fish and catch 500 striper.
like he did.
I mean, it's
just like he did.
I was at the point where I wanted to just pack it up.
You know, I don't
yesterday.
I still don't understand how you caught that many striper. I think I've seen 4. I
caught 4 in 4 minutes.
Well, and you're catching 7 to 10 pounders. That's not like you're reeling them in 30 seconds.
It's ridiculous.
It takes a while. It takes a minute.
I had my leader was toast. Stretched a little bit.
They're hard on your ear. It's a good way to test a knot, though.
Yeah, I just there's a 10-degree difference from the dam to the mouth of the rivers, and well, not to the mouth, but up in the river, and about a 6-foot visibility change too. So, I think they're all over the place. I don't think anybody in the house has been up there besides me, and
it's just that fall fishing pattern.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, it's fall time. I mean, it's cold. It's, you know, the weather's all over the place. The fish are all over the place. I mean, guys are catching them out of grass. They're catching them up shallow. They're catching them flipping wood and docks and out in, you know,
Narnia. They're catching them off docks.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there.
I fished every dock in this lake. I ain't caught one.
I'm just throwing it out there, like, you know,
you're always one dock away from finding the right one.
Yeah, I tell you what, if I find that one dock, it's on, son, because that jig's gonna get 8 if I can.
Well, what are you gonna do if you flip under a dock, catch a striper?
He's gonna leave.
Hey, if I catch a striper off a dock, he's going to box.
Yeah,
on a jig.
His mind if he catches one on a dock.
Yeah. No. It's I think it's gonna be for the fans, it's going to be something to watch, I think. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great time of the year because everything else has been done for like 2 months. Other than like the Major League Fishing Team Series, you know, they kind of sprinkled those out. But a December event is super. A November event is super.
Yeah, I honestly just wish that the weather would have picked what it wanted to do. I don't like the sort of warm trend we were on here because I think last week and the week before it was really cold here, like in the 20s and teens at night. And then we came and it's in the 50s and 60s. Yeah, and I think it drops to like 30s tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from
like
Florida.
that.
I had to go buy clothes for this.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to prepare big time. And then I get here and I'm like, bro, it's 68 degrees outside. I'm like, what are we doing?
Like,
I meant for fishing wise. I wish it would have just stayed cold.
But look, I'm looking at the 10-day right now. You're on a pretty decent warming trend.
Yeah.
I mean, the next 10 days, the lowest temperature I see is 53 degrees.
On the backside of winter for spring, yeah, I prefer that. But you know, going into the winter, they're trying to get, you know, stable, and then we hit them with this, and I feel like that has just. I mean, for me, I have not had a great rookie year, but it's been for me every time we've been somewhere, I feel like we've either just missed it or we have like a. Mother Nature wants to pull a fast one on us all, and it's like, and that's been like the MO for the whole year. Aside from Pickwick, I feel like every tournament, like Logan Martin, should have been a slugfest, but we got that lake froze over for the first time in like 3 decades the week before we were there, you know, and then it's just every tournament we've had, just the weather has just not cooperated.
I think it follows tournament fishermen around anyway.
Yeah,
I really do.
Absolutely.
It does. And I mean, you know, you look back at this season of the NPFL, and there's been tons of really big bags that have been weighed in, regardless of, you know, being there at the right time or the wrong time. And I think it's great going to some of these lakes at the wrong time, because then it's just a challenge. Like, you know, it's not everybody's not going out there catching 25 pounds and you're like in 28th place with 22 pounds. It's like, it's, you know, you got to go out there and really put it together.
Yeah.
And I think that's way cooler than, you know, everybody smashing them.
Absolutely. It just sucks for the guys on the back half of that. I can't figure it out. That's me. That's been me this year. It's been tough, but you know, we don't have to worry about it next year. Get back to old school shit. And sorry, I don't know if we cuss here, but
no, it's good, dude. Yeah.
Man, we're all, you know, next year I think the world's gonna the bass fishing world's gonna have a lot of fun watching us go at it next year. It's something I haven't seen in 5 or 6 years, you know, and I think it's gonna be a breath of fresh air again.
It's bringing some well-known names, you know.
Yeah, I'm excited, man.
James Watson just posted recently that he's going to jump in with the NPFL next year.
Yeah, one of my a good buddy of mine's coming over too. I don't know if we're allowed to say. I don't think the list is out yet, but
yeah, it's going to be cool. That's good.
Yeah,
yeah, you know, and it's gonna. I think it was a great decision to do that.
I agree.
You know, I've only been using LiveScope for 2 years. I grew up fishing in Florida, so you know, I flip and throw a swim jig and a frog and everything like that. Just, you know, all the stuff that you grass fish with, chatterbaits, speed worms, everything. So, you know, I spent the last 2 years really learning how to use LiveScope to the best I can to compete, because I mean, it's so hard to compete without it, with everybody else has it, especially if someone's really good at it. It's really hard to beat them. But I think next year it'll be an even playing field, and I'm excited. I mean, honestly, I think everybody's going to have to go out and really figure out how to catch them and not look at them.
And we get to fish the spring, you know. I mean, I think the schedule is pretty good for the initial half of the year. But
I will say with LiveScope, it is very like it. You can't just pull up and start getting bit.
No,
like it is very hard to distinguish some of these fish if you haven't had a lot of screen time, I should say, with it.
Yeah.
You know, and then getting the right cast and making sure that you're presenting the bait to them correctly and getting them to react. I mean, it's hard.
Yeah.
And it takes a long time to really learn that. And it took me a long time to learn it. So I think
what's the we're talking 25 here. What's on the list?
We got I think we got a Santee in March.
Well, I know this. What's on your list? Which one you got big old check mark by?
Santee.
A Messina. That's gonna be a fun one. St. Lawrence. I think honestly I've never been to Norman. I don't know 100%, but I think that one's gonna be fire.
I think
in April.
Yeah.
I think the only lake on that schedule that's going to be tough is Douglas.
Yeah, Douglas is going to be tough, but that fits into my style. I like those.
That's like Cherokee.
Huh?
Is that fish like Cherokee? Is it because it's close to Cherokee, isn't it?
Yeah, but the size is not. It's not the same. I don't think there's a lot of big fish in Douglas.
Does no front looker change St. Lawrence?
Oh, it's
going to make it even more fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We're going to be able to, just get on with it. Well, yeah, you can find them, but you're going to catch it. There's a chance you can catch a check on greenfish too, I think. I really do.
Now, remind me, can you use it in practice?
Pre-practice, not official practice.
Okay.
But that you just opened up another can there, because that's something I don't think a lot of people are thinking about. Us going back and forth, if you're an angler that chooses to do so, I think is going to be very hard to do. I've been messing with LiveScope for 2 years now, and I am like, I'm not even as seasoned with it as a lot of guys, and I still catch myself looking at it no matter what. And Joey's a hammer regardless, so I don't think it's going to affect him. The guys that have become accustomed to it, to look at it, it's just a habit. It's going to be, you're going to look down and it's not going to be there, and it's going to affect a lot of people.
Yeah.
I really think it's going to take a while for people to do that. And I think it's going to hurt the guys who go back and forth, especially the elites. And that sounds stupid to say, but the guys that are fishing the Elite Series, they get to use it 1 week and then come to us and put a lock on the transducer. It's going to play mind games.
It's going to be a big mental test.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, to capitalize on what he's saying is like, you mentally have to be able to not worry about that, especially if you're those guys that are going back and forth between it from the elites to the NPFL and stuff like that. Like, mentally, you're going to have to just shut it off and just be like, we're just going fishing.
Right. It's one of those things where we're using it for traditional techniques as well, like flipping a jig, or throwing a crank, spinnerbait, even stuff that was popular. We're not just talking about jig head minnow stuff. The stuff we've been doing forever,
Right.
We still use it to flip into.
And that's what I was saying when I say we, like in Ohio, it's become a structural thing.
Yeah.
For me and my buddies at home is like you pull up to a tree and now you can see how far that laydown goes out and what's down there. And it's just
or timber. If you're
so different.
timber, you're looking, you're scanning right, scanning left. There's nothing on it unless it's on the back side. You go around the backside, there's nothing. There's not a fish there.
Like when we were at Pickwick, I was fishing.
You're gonna have to fish more now without it. You're gonna have to actually,
we were at Pickwick. I was fishing bluff laydowns, and I would pull up to every tree and scan it before I even made a pitch to it. And like I caught myself, and I remember going like halfway through the second day, I'm like, "What am I? Why am I doing this? Why don't I just pull up here, pull down, and just like normal?" Now I'm gonna start 50 yards away from it and scan it out first. And like, I don't understand why I do that. I mean, it's you have to, like, it's just become part of you. And I think I'm going to love getting away from it. Just going back to just traditional bass fishing, and just, I'm just excited. I'm happy to the league.
I think you're going to see a lot of bank beating.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is you're going to move the people that do good very well up shallow now, because of LiveScope, are going to have more company up shallow.
Yeah.
Because now the people are going to be shifting this way, and it's going to leave the offshore fishing wide open, in my opinion. Because it's going to be
back to that traditional offshore fishing, though. Like
you could, but it's you can't like.
Do people remember how?
Hey,
that's the question.
Some people remember how.
Yeah, this guy over here.
Well, think about it. Like I'm just like talking about fishing a underwater hump or a ledge on Tennessee River. Like you know where the mark's at.
Yeah.
The challenge that you guys will face is you're on the Tennessee. I don't think you have anything on the Tennessee River next year, do you?
No. Douglas is close. Well, is Douglas TVA?
But you have something on a ledge. Like then you got a 100-boat local tournament that's going out. That's all looking at them, fishing right alongside you guys. I think that will be your challenge, right? Like, you got somebody that's looking at them, and then you got the rest of you,
right? And I think it's going to be hard for, like I said, being so accustomed to it. Even when you traditionally went to drag a rig or go out there and deep crank, fishing like Pickwick and Chick and stuff like that. People that do that, you're still doing the same techniques, but you got so accustomed to looking to see what was there. I think it's going to be hard for guys to go out on that hump and just stay committed to an area or to something that they know produces fish without being able to see them. I think it's going to be a struggle mentally to stay there and work for the bites when they've been looking at them for so long without popping the 12 meter up and going to the next one.
Yeah, they're not getting that instant feedback on. Yeah, is there a fish showing any kind of attention to your bait? Are you getting followers? Do you need to make adjustments? That's stuff that we get. That
exactly. You don't know, but you're used to for the last couple of years,
right? It's
Well, for the last couple of years, we fished for the most aggressive fish on that spot,
right?
And then we moved on. We didn't try to convince that 4-pounder that's been sitting down there just belly in the mud for an hour and a half, and we've been rolling a crankbait and a jig and God knows what else over the top of him, and finally one thing triggers him. Now we're going to catch that fish. I think it's almost going.
Yeah, I'll tell you that when I got LiveScope and I really started learning it and got better with it, just knowing how many fish were in an area. Like, let's just say that you pick, a clear lake, crystal clear lake, and it's got a ton of bait in it, and you pull up and it's super deep. Like, there's, back a handful of years ago before LiveScope, like, you weren't able to tell if there was fish there. You just were like, unless they came up and blew up, or like you saw something on your side scan or whatever, your 2D, like, you just didn't really know. You had to just fish around. But now, after seeing, like, you pull into an area and you're like if there's fish are everywhere, like, I think that mentally will stick with people. So, like, when you pull in an area, you'll have confidence to be like, hey, when I had LiveScope, it was like this everywhere. Like, I'm just going to go fish around doing this, how I did it with LiveScope, and see if I get bit.
Yeah.
Well, it goes back to and I think it was KVD years ago said it. You know, he may go fish the worst spot in the lake, but when he puts that trolling motor down, he's going to fish it like it's a number 10. It's a number 1 spot, right? It's a 10 out of 10. He's going to catch them there. There may not be a fish for a mile, but he's still going to put 20 in the boat on that.
Yeah, you're going to dissect your areas a lot more.
Yeah, right, exactly. I think you're not going to cover as much water, right? You're gonna live and die by a spot.
Yeah, I mean, let's say you're scoping a creek arm. I mean, you know, you could scope a creek arm in an hour, maybe less than that, and 5 minutes. You pull in there and you're like, oh, they're not here. Versus now, I mean, you're gonna fish for an hour,
I think
2 hours,
I think
and you're gonna go, they're not here.
I think the old school power fishing stuff is gonna really have a comeback next year in our league. Just the glory days of Van Dam and just the deep cranking.
I'm ready to see some square bill and some.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're going to see a lot of it in the first 3 tournaments. I have no doubt that.
I mean, everything, dude. Like,
I don't know how good Douglas's weight's going to be, but
everything.
The first 2 should be awesome.
Carolina rig, wobblehead, square bill, spinner bait, like all the stuff, like especially deep cranking. I mean, you only deep crank if you see them on a ledge or you see them on a bar that's deep. Like, you don't just go and throw it to throw it.
Yeah.
Like, right. I don't know anybody that just picks up a 10XD with no LiveScope and goes, I'm just going to throw it around today. Yeah. Like, I just don't know anybody that does that.
We used to do that.
Some of the old guys still do.
Yeah, we do that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you don't really see that much anymore.
You used to find a rock pile or something on side scan and
those
just
are the
burn
guys
the
that
shit
don't
out.
know how to use LiveScope.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
They're not spotlighters.
No, but I mean, like we were talking about going to St. Lawrence, I think there's going to be a lot of that going on at St. Lawrence. There'll be a lot of spinner baiting and crankbait and jerk baiting going on.
Dude, it's smallmouth Disneyland.
Yeah, it's
so let me say this. Do you guys really care about the weight, or you just guys want to catch them?
As far as there?
Anywhere. Like, see, that's what I'm thinking. Like next year, the weights are going to be down, and that's going to be the
I have a feeling
that's going to be the topic of conversation. But as a fan, I could give a crap less what the weights are. I just want to see you guys catching.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's going to be that. I think the schedule fits catching them. I mean, fall is going to be tough, but the rest of them should be. I mean, I don't think there's going to be any shortage of bass.
I think you're going to see a lot of worm fishing again. Honestly, like you're going to see a lot of those, trick worms and brush hogs and creature baits, and
that's why
everything coming back full circle. I mean, that's the cool thing about the league doing that and taking away LiveScope. I mean, it's going to go back to the old watching the elites, go flip bushes, like watching Greg Hackney go up and flip a bush and catch 4-pounders, like it's nothing, Yeah, that's the cool stuff I think is going to be happening next year.
Yeah, I think the schedule fits the narrative that we all wanted with going without LiveScope. I can tell you right now, if we didn't have it this season, I don't know how many fish would have been caught. I don't know how many fish would be getting caught at this event without it.
I think it would be tough.
Very.
It's because, like I said, it's that fall time pattern. I mean, there's fish everywhere. It's just they're very few and far between. So it's like you get bit on a dock and then you fish 65 docks and you go, am I going to get another bite? And then you fish your 75th dock and you get another bite and you're like, I got 2. How many more do I got to fish before I catch 3?
Well, if you look at, let me pull up I'm going to pull up this year, each tournament.
Yeah, all quiet in there.
Just let's kind of look at.
I'll pull up my stats.
No, I mean like the top. Let's just say like the top 3, of these tournaments, and just kind of get an idea of how they were won. Like this is Logan Martin. I know Harkins.
That was the only event that was not won LiveScoping.
Right. I mean, Brock did it a little bit with jerkbait, but Will was square billing and.
I think everyone. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But that was the exception. Everything else you think was.
That's what you were doing, right there.
I threw a Fritzside the whole time.
Me too. Fritzside and a jig.
And froze.
Yeah. So this was on Amistad. Perkins was throwing a big swim bait, I believe. I don't think he was.
Well, Saginaw Bay.
Were they spawning there?
Saginaw Bay, they LiveScoped.
Yeah. That's Saginaw. Yeah. And I can tell you right now, that event was not getting one on brown fish without LiveScope. I don't care what anybody in the field says. That event was going to be green fish one without LiveScope because them smallmouth were very hard to catch.
I want to say congratulations to those guys because I did it for 3 days and I caught one smallmouth that was 5 pounds. And I was like, not happening. I mean, literally, I was like, yep, I'm going to flip the bank. I can't take it.
Well, I don't even know. I might have just lied because I think Gary won without. I don't even know if he was scope.
Well, here's Hartwell, so Corvishley won that one. I'm
Hartwell was a scope fest too. And that
Hunter was definitely scoping.
That one actually, you know, it's crazy. I had a really good. I don't think a lot of guys were chasing the early morning herring bite there, and I was, destroying them in the first hour of every day. And the first morning, I lost like probably 15 to 16 pounds. I hadn't lost a fish in practice. I lost like 15 pounds in my first 8 casts at Hartwell.
God, that hurt.
And then I salvaged like 10 or 11 pounds. I don't remember what I weighed, something like that the first day. I was sitting all right. And that's the day I fell in the lake. And after that, I had a late boat draw. And that morning hour from my bite was crucial. And then it went off the rails after that. But I'm not a scoper. And it's really kicked me in the butt this year. You can't, I don't know if anybody just gets out of bed and is just good with it. Like you have to spend hours and hours and hours and hours with it to be efficient. And even I have no problem hitting a fish in the face with it every time I throw it. My target accuracy is perfect, but floating it and getting there's something there. Maybe
it's all about presentation. I mean, there's so many. I mean, even though you just throwing a minnow at them, you're throwing it. Trust me, I have never been a LiveScope advocate, but knowing the being forced to use it, I will argue with everyone, including Randy Blockett, that it's not that easy. Mm-hmm. It is very hard to do because
it's a technique, you know.
Joey's wiped out beers. We had a beer triangle, beer pyramid. He just wiped out.
Fatality.
The LiveScope stuff's hard, but next season's going to be awesome. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good deal. I think it's just going to be fun. Just get to go fishing, show up, and hang out.
Hey, a couple questions real quick before we let you go.
Give us the rundown like you gave Brian. I want all the questions.
Yeah. So
since he took up the whole time.
The most overrated bait out there, and then the most underrated bait. Yeah, I'm going to ask you kind of the same questions. Most overrated and most underrated bait in the last 20 years or something.
You want to go first? Overrated?
Most overrated.
That's awesome.
Like something that came out and had a big buzz. Maybe you tried it and you're like, or just kind of, it was hot for a little bit and it went away and now it doesn't work, or, gimmick. Whatever, something just
overrated. I'll go. Whopper.
You go first.
Whopper plopper.
Whopper plopper.
Well, you can't say the same thing Brian said.
You said Whopper plopper? Yeah. I wasn't even listening.
Chapo.
All right, you go now so I can think of another one.
I don't know.
Hey, if that's the most overrated, it's the most overrated.
No, there's other ones. I think overrated.
It's so hard because everything gets bit.
I can tell you right now.
It's like you really got to think about it. Like.
If you want to talk about bass fishing as a whole, the most overrated bait would have. I think it is the minnow.
I say the A-rig.
No, because that thing always catches them.
It doesn't matter. It does not always catch them. No way. That's the most overrated. I mean that. Yeah,
I don't know. It's hard. I would say it's the Whopper plopper. I think the Whopper plopper is the most overrated bait ever.
Okay.
It's good for a very short period of time, depending on the part of the country you're in. Now, I don't know guys that can just throw that thing religiously from beginning of the year to the end of the year and crack them. Like there's a very small window.
You know how frustrating an A-rig is? You have to rig it all up. You got 6 hooks or 5 hooks on it or whatever. You got to put all these baits on it, and then you make your cast, and then your line tangles up. You break it off. So then you have to redo it all.
And they're heavy.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm serious. That's.
And it's like $40 if it flies off.
I'm very glad that the A-rig did not come back to the league this year.
Well, why not?
And before the
Could
spotlighter,
you
how many
imagine
did
if they
you
would have
take to a
kept
tree?
LiveScope and brought the A-rig back?
I'd have thrown it every tournament.
Oh my god,
Me too.
I'd have quit.
Hey, if you could throw it, you got to be throwing it.
Absolutely.
Big
Yeah,
Al's
that's
down there in Lake
yeah.
the Ozarks, and that's what wins in the wintertime down
That's the
there.
rules.
Big Al could probably win a tournament with an A-rig and LiveScope.
So the next question is the most underrated.
Underrated?
Fluke.
Fluke?
Absolutely.
How is your fluke rigged?
Like weightless or on a jig head or?
Regular Texas rig. Weightless fluke.
Okay.
A weightless fluke. I feel like everybody looks at that thing and they're like, all it does is catch little fish.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Because it kind of, you don't hear about it anymore.
No.
Really.
And the only time you hear about it is when you come to these herring lakes and they throw it as fast as they can and the spotted bass eat it, you know.
Yeah.
But like just showing up and pulling up to a lake that's like Santee Cooper or whatever, and you just throw a fluke all day. Like nobody really does that anymore. It's kind of something that just kind of fell off a little bit, and people still throw it here and there, but I feel like that's the most underrated big fish catching bait out there.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. That really is a good one. It's something that I forgot about until like last year or the year before. I started fishing it a little bit more, even in colder water. Like instead of a jerk bait, throw a fluke. It's still it'll still catch them.
And everybody thinks about like a Cinco, and it's like
that's neither over or under. That's
consistent.
Yeah, I mean, you can use that bait any time of the year, anywhere.
You can't work a Cinco on the top. You can work a fluke any way you want.
You can work a Cinco like a jerk bait.
You can twitch the fluke. You can dead stick it. You can drag it. You can reel it as fast as you can, apparently, and it swims
like Bubba from Forrest Gump right now.
Yeah, it's
the tube.
I think a spinnerbait's underrated these days. I don't see a lot of people throwing it anymore. I mean, there is, but man, I mean, you go watch. Where were they at? Where'd Hackney smash them this year on a spinnerbait? Where was the elites at? He was cracking on a spinnerbait around Cypress Trees.
Probably.
And everybody else was on bedfish.
Probably the river.
I think so. Yeah, I think it was St. John's.
Had to have been the St. John's.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't see. I mean, since like the old power fishing days with Kevin and those guys, like when's the last time you saw somebody win a tournament on a spinnerbait?
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's a chatterbait deal. Bladed jig.
You know, another underrated bait is a Carolina rig.
Yeah, I would agree on that.
Absolutely.
You know, that's another thing that kind of once, LiveScope came out, it fell off.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't really have to throw a ball and chain to get bit anymore.
I think the LiveScope thing has simplified. I remember when like everybody wants to have every soft plastic bait. You know, you want a brush hog in every color. You want a lizard in every color back in the day when you were rigging. You want trick worms in every color. And I think LiveScope has like caused everyone to understand that bass fishing is very simple when it comes to your assortment and your arsenal. I don't think you need 100 baits in your boat at all times.
Well, LiveScope's like the iPhone of bass fishing.
Yeah.
But
I think it's brought back your use. Oh man, if I just I need a green pumpkin brush hog.
Yeah.
Or a black trick worm. Like I don't need 45 colors because they're going to eat it. You've learned that from bass. Put it in their face, they're going to eat it. Mm-hmm. I don't think color necessarily. I remember hearing when I was younger, oh man, plum's awesome down on the TVA, or like this color is great here. Like I've got green pumpkin, black, and watermelon, and everything.
Hey, plum is awesome on the TVA. Don't be.
Yeah, no, I know it is. Trust me, but I mean, man, it's really hard. My buddy's probably watching. He's gonna kick me in the butt, and I mean, it's no secret. I throw a Kitech flip jig religiously. I'll throw that thing anywhere in the country, everywhere in the country, like all times, and it will catch fish everywhere. And they make it in black, brown, and light brown. That's all I throw. And they eat that damn thing everywhere. I don't care what anybody says. And if you get comfortable with knowing you can catch bass on a bait anywhere you go.
It's right here, a lot of it, man.
It simplifies your approach. Exactly. If you know you can catch fish on 4 or 5 baits, no matter where you go, that takes a lot of the mental, struggle out of it.
I remember going fishing when I was a kid with my dad, who you guys are going to talk to here soon. And like we would fish I mean, we'd fish miles and miles and miles and miles of bank. And it was one of those deals where you would fish for so long with one bait that you're like, they don't eat this color because I haven't caught anything on it. So then you're digging through your box trying to figure out, are they going to eat black blue? Are they going to eat a bluegill colored swim jig? Are they going to eat a white chatterbait? Like now you're having to really pull back and go, what are they actually eating? Instead of like, I'm going to pull up and I don't care what color my jerkbait is. If I get it in front of their face, they're going to eat.
I think you've learned that maybe it wasn't always the color or its presentation. They weren't there.
Yeah.
You need to reevaluate your entire approach to how you're fishing.
That's like that's the age-old question. It's like, should I stay or should I go? Should I go through the area again with a different bait, with a different color? But with looking at them, you can tell they're not.
I think what we've learned from LiveScope and being able to scan under docks, doing stuff like that, just old school bass fishing. I don't think that matters anymore. I think it's, hey, if they didn't eat in this stretch, they ain't there, or they're not eating. It's one of the two.
Right.
I don't think the color. I mean, I'm not going to go throw translucent in a mud hole, but at the same time, like. So I said, black, brown, green pumpkin. Like, you don't keep it simple, man. They're going to eat it.
I stopped believing in color when I watched people catch them on a pink minnow. I was like, yeah, I think that's pretty much sealed the deal for me.
Robo worm.
Yeah, I was just like, all right, well, I think they'll just eat anything.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to what you're saying there. It's like if you've got a color of whatever bait it is, and you've caught fish in the past consistently on that color, if you go through an area and they're not biting that, then they're probably just not eating, or they want something different. Like they want a different action. It's not just the color. It's like maybe they want a crankbait instead of a bladed jig, or
exactly. And I was even getting ready to say, sometimes like even like with the jig, I'm a big jig fisherman. That's if you could give me one bait to throw anywhere all the time, I heard you ask a question, it's a jig. Like, and I think a lot of times, like you're saying with the presentation, you got to know where you're at and what time of year it is, because that trailer could cause you to not get a bite. You got something that's got too much action. So 90% of the time, I'm trying to find something that's always a happy medium, and I don't want something that's just a flat chunk, and I don't want something that's going berserk all the time. Like, I want something that's usually just in the middle, because I find that will usually get bit. If they're eating that bait, they're going to eat that. Like, I'm not going to overwhelm them, and I'm not going to bore them. They're going to want to eat something that's kind of in the middle there, And I think that is something a lot of people are like, oh man, I need to throw a rage crawl, I need to throw a chunk. No, maybe throw a menace instead, like something that's a little in between. And
speed crawl.
Yeah, speed crawl.
Speed crawl's good, dude. Man,
yeah, it is.
That's one of the best ever.
Don't listen to these guys. They
on a Carolina rig, Texas rig, or jig trailer.
He's mad. Why is he mad?
Speed crawl's so good.
I don't catch fish.
What?
Yeah, just like a spin.
No zoom bait catches fish at all.
What?
I mean,
I think with the jig, you got to have a
see on that side of the camera. They don't catch fish. I promise.
Man, when it's tough, the little crawl, I'll definitely tie a little crawl on.
Yeah, and believe it or not, that new Magnum. Well, I don't even know if it's new. How long has the Magnum one been out?
It's been out for a while, a couple years.
The Magnum one's been out for that
Magnum speed crawl.
Probably.
Yeah, that's a really good bait, dude.
There's an even better one. It's called the medium speed crawl, but we're not going to talk about that.
Mid-size.
Medium one. I don't have that one. I ain't throwing that one. I don't throw speed crawl. Obviously,
it blows that Magnum out of the water, buddy.
I was religious on a baby brush hog forever, and just like one day, I just for some reason started throwing a big one. I'll never go back.
Yeah,
the big one gets bit. Like, I always worried that it was a little too big.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
This guy.
Anyways, my wife's probably watching this. Anyways, but yeah, like I in Ohio, man, we have very small fish, and
Your buddy said he's gonna kill you.
Oh yeah, my
talking about that Kitech jig.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah, his buddy's gonna kill him.
Hey, which one was that, by the way?
Yeah, well, Nick, I didn't tell him who cracks
a little more about
X on all the time, but you guys want to know what he's catching on the Ohio River?
Oh, yeah, I already know where this is going. He's
on a weight color trailer.
Yeah, he got it now, boy. No, that dude there is a hammer on the river. That's one of my best friends. We grew up fishing together, and
So you didn't answer my question. Which one is it?
Well, I'm sorry, I missed the question.
Kitech. Which one's your jig?
The brown one.
The only one.
The only one. Okay.
They only make one good one.
The only one. Meanwhile, there's 55 of them on the website.
No, there ain't. They have the one with that little baby hook.
That summed it down.
Yeah,
That
that one
narrowed it
is something down. He's like looking for him right now. Like,
Yeah, he just gave him a description like a brown car or a silver car. Like
man, and to be honest with you, I don't really care. It's no secret. Like everybody in the industry knows that's a good jig. I don't know why it's so good. I don't know if it's the skirt material I don't know what about it, man. But I can tell you what, I can throw a 1/2 ounce deep. I can flip a 3/8 ounce shallow. It doesn't matter. But yeah, it's just something about that jig. It gets bit 10-1 over any other jig. I don't care what anybody says. Like I've thrown jigs forever, and I've never seen a bait that gets eaten as good as that in the jig category.
That last comment that popped up, that full size brush hog, saved me on Lake of the Ozarks. So I day 3 when I fished Lake of the Ozarks, I tied one on, and I wasn't catching anything, and I've been catching them all like. Just, not good, but just catching fish here and there on a rattle trap. And then I tied it on day 3 because I wasn't getting bit throwing the rattle trap anymore for some reason. But I started pitching docks with it, and I caught a 3-pounder on it, and then I started catching some keeper fish on it. So that definitely is a really, really another underrated bait, I think, too, because I haven't really thrown it a whole lot until just recently where I'm like, wow, it actually does work really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's sometimes on that lake. I've got some experience on Lake of the Ozarks. I fish it multiple times a year and stuff. But there are times where they won't hit a jig, but they'll hit that brush hog. And then they won't hit a brush hog or a jig, but they'll hit a shaky head. So it's like you gotta, if you're doing that kind of thing where you're dragging something or skipping something, you kind of got to have at least those 3 baits. A jig.
Yeah, I really want to go back there when that place is on. I mean, I was looking forward to that tournament. It just didn't.
Well, I had a really good glide bite going on in practice. I mean, I wasn't catching a whole lot of fish on them, but it was fun. I mean,
you guys hit it at a really tough time. That was you had a lot of big tournaments that you had the Big Bass Bash that went through there, and there was about 3,000 anglers that fished that, and then you had I think you had maybe a BFL. There was a bunch of crap that went through there right before you guys got there. So
I waited in. I had a really good practice too. That place was weird. Like one day you wouldn't catch them, and then I had my second day practice, I had 18, 19 pounds, and then nothing the last day. But I was trying to avoid the things I was on, and then I watch it and I'm like, oh my God. I watched it back. I'm like, I don't know how I missed that. I guess you just had to stick with that plopper bite and guys are doing. I'm not doing something old. If there's one thing I can tell anybody about me, I'm not going to sit and do. If I'm not getting bit, I'm not going to do it all day. I understand I'm fishing for $100,000, but I cannot fish for 5 random bites like that. There's no rhyme, reason, or merit to it, and I know that's hard for people to say, but I'm watching guys hit 4,000 docks and catch 5 fish.
Yep. In
between them on a plopper, I can't do that.
It's the way to do it though, because those 5 bites you're going to get are the right ones.
Obviously, you're right, but I guess
it's hard to keep your head in the game. Trying to stay focused.
Knowing that I can go.
I mean, the biggest thing is do you want to go catch 102 pounders? Or you want to go win $100,000?
Yeah.
So it's I'll go for 5 bites all day.
Yeah.
If I stick with one bait and I'm going to get 5 big bites to win the tournament, I'm going to throw it.
And it's weird because for me, if I'm out on Lake Erie or something, I'll do that. I don't know what it is about sitting out there and bobbing up and down, drop shotting. I can sit out there all day long for 5 bites. But when I'm power fishing like that, I can't. If I'm not getting bit quick enough to know that I'm doing the right thing, at least quick enough to get 1 or 2 in the boat and stick with it for the day, I can't fish a bait for 4 hours and then get 1 bite and then hope that they turn on in the last 30 minutes. I just can't do that.
I mean, in Florida, when you go flipping, people will flip all day for 5 bites, and they're either going to come in with nothing or they're going to come in with 30 pounds. Like,
yeah,
I mean, like it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
So what's something you guys learned in 2024?
Hey, if you wouldn't have taken so long.
You better be wrapping this up because Big Daddy's got to go to bed.
Big
All right.
Daddy.
Big Daddy is saying you need to ask us our final questions. So.
Okay,
and
I
then
got it right now.
Then we'll put Nate on there for you, Gabe.
Let's do the. Okay, listen with this. What's something in 2024 that you learned that you're going to take over into 2025?
Don't ruin
My mental game. Mentally showing up and telling myself I can do it every time I go out there. And knowing for a fact that I can come out here and compete with some of these anglers and show up and be like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go out there and catch them. That's something that I think working on all year long. That's the biggest thing I learned this year was mentally showing up and going, I'm not worried about what everybody else is doing. I'm here to catch 5 bass a day.
That's good.
And I think that's going to be strong going into the next season, especially with no forward-facing sonar.
Yeah.
Just you against the fish. It's all. It's always that way.
Yeah, I'm chasing 5 green bass around the lake all day.
What was the question? 2024, 25?
What'd you learn?
What'd you learn?
What am I taking with me?
Yeah, what are you taking with you?
Yeah. Like, is there something that jumped out in 2024 that had a realization that you're gonna?
Don't talk about
In all honesty, I think it's
Not spotlighters.
no coming into your own maturity as far as being if you're gonna fish as a tour angler and fish against this competition. I think it's both of our rookie years. I think it's imperative to keep your head above water, and I think I've struggled with that this year. I had a lot more hopes for my season than what ended up happening, and I know everyone's going to have bad years, and I was out of the game for a long time, so for me it wasn't. I was just happy to be back and be able to get the opportunity, but I think more or less now I can't listen to it's so hard to deal with the dock talk and stuff, especially as a rookie. And then you're in a house, and I think me and Joe have both been fortunate enough to have decent roommates this year. I'm going to start with decent. We're not going to go above decent roommates right yet. But in all honesty, it's just keeping your head down and fishing, and not worrying, like you said, just telling yourself you can do it. I mean, I've struggled with that this year. Like, I've had days where I'm like, man, I can really compete with these guys. And then I have days in tournaments where I'm like, what the hell am I doing? And I think that's the biggest struggle as a rookie is and I'll say this to anyone. And I know our league's a little different because we're paid to play, right? But I mean, it's still very, I don't care what anybody says. This league is just as good as any. I don't care what anybody out there's got to say about that.
Oh, it's tough.
These dudes are all hammers, man. And to cash a check in this league ain't what it was 3 or 4 years ago. No knock to the guys from 3 or 4 years ago because there's a lot of them still here. This league it's
tough. People
People
are showing up each year more.
that 3-day guarantee makes it even harder.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no.
Because there's been multiple tournaments this year. I'm like, I'm gonna get checked.
I mean,
Here come Drew Cook, 24 pounds on the last day.
I mean,
I've been stuff like that.
I've been fortunate enough to do well my rookie season this year. I mean, I'm sitting in 12th in Angler of the Year points, and a lot of these lakes I've never been to.
Yeah.
Never. I had no information on them. I just showed up day of the official practice and practiced for 3 days and was like, well, I'm just gonna go fishing.
And I think a lot of it is like, man, I had a lot of first year jitters coming in this year. I didn't have anybody I knew in this league.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to really give me a little morale boost going into next year. We're going to fish this tournament wherever we land. This one, whatever. We got 3 months off. Go home. I got 2 beautiful kids and a loving family that supports me. We're going to go home. We're going to regroup and even with Joey's great year, he's going to get better. I'm going to get better. We're going to go to next year. And when we show up next year, ain't no more jitters. There's no more jitters. There's no more I'm not going to have any doubt. And we don't have LiveScope. And I think, I say there's no jitters, and then I think we got like I don't know how many.
Oh, I can't wait! I can't wait, Santee Cooper. I'm gonna go dead fluke a stick.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say the name, but like
100%.
One of my mentors growing up, who has been a lifelong touring professional, is coming over next year, and it is going to be a dream come true for me to go out there and compete on a full season against him next year, and with him, and just being, and a lot of it's bigger than the sport. A lot of times it's, we as kids, I'm 30, I'll be 34. Joey's
23,
10 years behind me. But I fished the opens when I was in my late teens, early 20s, and stuff. So it's like I had a long layoff, I guess you could call it. And I think it is so rewarding to be able to come out here and live your dream and chase your passion.
Mm-hmm.
Have the ability to do this. So, your rookie year's a rookie year. I have nothing but good things to say about the NPFL. Every decision that they've made, the field is extremely strong. And as a whole, as a group, there's a few bad apples. I think they've weeded themselves out this year. Without stirring any drama up, they won't be back. But
NPFL's a good organization and a great group of guys, especially this guy right here.
This guy behind me,
get 2 pounds extra on everybody.
Hey, yeah, Big Al throws if I get. Yeah. But no, I'm just what I'm taking from this year to next year. The bottom line is just a tremendous amount of gratitude and happiness. I'm just ready to get next year on the road and get it started off good and just keep my wits about me. I think it's kind of what you said. Just
go fishing.
Yeah,
that's all fishing. It's just fishing.
Yeah. Well, that's good, man. That's what it's all about. Like you said, there's a lot of different. I think if you're not getting jitters when you're fishing a tournament, you're not really in love with it. I think that's something that everybody gets.
If you're not having fun, you're not. Dude, you're not in the right.
I remember the short story. I know we got to go. The last year the Elite Series had co-anglers, which was 2008, I think. I fished as a co-angler. I was 16.
Wow.
Yeah. And I fished 2 of them that year. I can't remember where. Kissimmee and what's that real bad place in Tennessee? What's that?
There's no bad
in Nashville, the river.
Hickory, Old Hickory.
Old Hickory, God, yeah. And I mean, so too. And but I remember the jitters is what I'm getting at. I remember I got there, I'm with my parents. I'm 16, and I'm like looking over, and I'm like, holy crap! There's Van Dam, there's Ike and Swindle, and I remember watching these guys, and they're in the zone, man. Like as a kid, seeing these guys, they were all business, and I think part of a rookie in bass fishing, part of being a rookie is you got to learn who you are and where you're at in as far as your mental state and being able to, separate the fun and the business portion of it. And I think I've struggled with that this year because I wanted to meet people, and kind of establish myself. And that's where it's been a little bit of a struggle, but next year that's all over with. I'm here now. I've got my friends, and I don't need any more. Really, now it's about getting down to business. And what is that?
I have no idea, but
there's a big bug just called.
We are out of time.
Yeah, we gotta go.
So,
all right, fellas,
we fish in the morning, guys.
Appreciate the talk, guys, and
it's nice to meet you guys.
Nice meeting you all.
You too. Good luck tomorrow.
We'll be pulling for you guys.
Man.
Yep, absolutely.
See you guys later.
Hey,
All right.
Gabe.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Gabe, real quick, something different real quick for you guys to close out the show. I'm going to bring on Nate Bloom, Joey's dad, and Austin, his friend, talk for about 5 minutes, just kind of the, kind of team effort that it takes, third generation family fishing, first generation Joey out there actually competing at the top level here. And Nate and Austin will kind of break that down as a good friend of Joey's. And then Joey's dad, Nate. So talk to him for about 5 minutes, and we'll close out this.
Sounds good, Al.
Yep.
What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, dude?
Nothing, man. This is fun. Just rolling through, getting to meet a bunch of new people for the first time. And
yeah, man, I watch you guys all the time anyway, man. So I'm happy to be on, man. I actually I'm a follower, and I didn't realize that that this is who we were going to be talking with. So this is awesome for me. So both of you guys, I know who you are. I watch you actually a lot. So cool to meet you guys firsthand.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's great.
So, yeah, so
I didn't take up a little bit of your time in life. So how
realize who I was talking with, man. That was awesome. So this is cool. So
how is it being out on the road with your son fishing? And
so this is all pretty cool, man. So 1998, I started tournament fishing, and so I kind of got hot and heavy into it, and what's very ironic about this week is I got to spend a little bit more time with Brian Hatfield, and Brian Hatfield is a guy who's identical to the guy who got me into tournament fishing. He's literally like a spitting image of my buddy Paul Bragg, who got me into fishing. So when I listen to Brian, we kind of chit chat around. He literally reminds me of him. So it's interesting. So kind of really cool about that. It kind of reminds me of how I got here, why I'm here. But then I created the monster with Joey. So Joey's a 23-year-old kid. I wanted to go pro when I was 23. So it's kind of ironic. His rookie season, here he is. And here I am, like, I still co-angler it up just so I can just travel and jump in a boat with somebody else while he's riding and, doing his deal. But no, it's been good, man. I've won a couple of boats doing a co-angler thing and, still fishing. But Joey, gripes at me, buy a boat, go do it on the pro side. You're good enough. I'm like, nah, I'm good, man. I just want to chill. Just want to relax. But no, it's all
that, man. That's
there's
kind
a
of
lot to be said to that, right?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. Right now.
I meet a lot of good people, man. As a co-angler, I don't care who I draw, scoper, flipper, whatever. Don't matter. It doesn't matter, dude. Just get in the boat, have fun. Deal with what you got to deal with. Figure it out. If you don't catch them, you don't catch them. It's not a big deal to me. I mean, if you come in second place as a co, I think you make like, $5,000. You win it, you make, 25 or 35 or whatever I've won in the past for a boat. So it's like, there's a big gap. You're not making money as a co-angler. So if you're doing it as a co-angler to try to make money, you're definitely out of the picture. I just do it just so I can travel with my son, chill out, hang out with everybody, have fun, jump in a boat, give some guys some gas money, have fun. But that's it. That's really, and get the fish, right? And if I compete and I beat these guys 200, 260, whatever it is, and whatever I'm fishing, it doesn't matter. But it's been fun. It's been really good. I've done well. I've been doing it a long time. And then this kid's doing it really well. So I'm just trying to let him do his thing and help him out financially, however I can, whatever.
Is it hard to see him out there, like watching live and see him, or however you come about knowing what's going on maybe after the tournament and know that, you want to help him make a different decision, but you have to kind of stay out of it and let him learn on his own?
Yeah, no, I mean, so I captained him as a high school angler for 4 years, all through high school. We made 4 world championships, 3 national championships as Bass Nation. Did all that, traveled all over. He got to listen to me beat in his head everything about fishing, beat it down. Him and his partner stayed together. They're still best friends today. They still compete, team tournaments all the time on the Harris chain. You look up Joey Bloom fishing on the Harris chain, he's pretty much wins a lot. So he's really good there. I made it a vendetta myself because of how bad I hated the Harris chain. how much I sucked out there that I told everybody, when my son gets to a certain age, I promise you, I'm coming back for every dollar I donated to every other tournament. I'm getting every one of my dollars back. I promise you. And so I definitely put every dollar I owned into that investment for him. So yeah, I look at it as, you know, everything I've tried to pound into him as a football coach, as a baseball coach, you know, I did all those things for 9 years with him. And fishing, he dropped out of football and said, I want to fish for, you know, high school. And that was his deal. So everything I'd put into him, he's done well, right? Fishing is just like live and breathe. I think he's got gills behind his ears. I think he's way better than I ever was. He looks at water and how to look at different contours better than anybody I've ever been in the boat with. I've been in the boat with everybody that you can possibly think of, from the top to the bottom. And there's probably, I think, 3 people in my mind. Brandon Lester, I think, was probably the other one that I fished with before he became a pro. And he was probably the best person I've ever seen in the boat. Look at a body of water and how to set hooks, and how, I'm like, he was a phenomenal fishing behind him before he became pro, and still good friends with Brandon Lester. I look at people individually, and I'm very technical. He is lined up to be the next, like, really good person on the boat to catch fish and just be really good at a craft. I don't know if I would have ever been that good, period, if I would have stepped into that realm, because I just can't look at the water the way he does. I just can't do it. I fish old school. I don't do the forward facing thing. I get in a boat with him. He's like, throw there. And I'm like, okay, I can catch a few fish, but that's not me. That is not my style. I don't like it. It's like, get me to a shoreline, get me to a bar, get me to something, a structure. Get me away from this, like chasing some fish and running them down. I can't deal with it. And that's the world we're living in now with the technology. So,
yeah, totally understandable. Yeah, you're right. You nailed it. It is what it is. That's one of the cool things about this league is it's going to change next year, and you know it's going to be interesting to see how
I'm looking forward.
Adapt, man.
Yeah,
I think it's cool. I'm excited.
I think the fans are going to get something that they haven't seen in a long time. I think it's going to be awesome for the league. I think the league did the right thing to step up and really kind of be the outcast that really said this is the line in the sand. I think it's a great thing. These young kids, I think my son supporting as a 23-year-old angler, supporting that goal to try to like get away from it and ban it. I think it's a good thing. I think it's, going to show where people are, a Greg Hackney stepping back into it, getting away from it from a pro elite side and saying that he's like, I'm not as good as the forward facing guys, but I could do it as this. I want to see what, some of these young kids can do against that. And I think it'd be good. I think it'd be a good show,
It's a good mix. It's a good mix of veterans. Just all across the board, a good mix of anglers in general. Austin, so when you jumping in the NPFL?
Not hopefully soon, but not too soon. I need like a few more years to learn from Joey. He's actually he's taught me a lot in the past year and a half knowing him. Yeah, it's good to have a teacher, man. Somebody that you can jump in the boat and has got some experience and kind of teach you the ropes. So yeah, take your time. It'll happen if it's supposed to. If it doesn't, then whatever. You're still gonna have fun, fish, and yeah, absolutely.
What heck? What you're getting right now, just life lessons on the road. Like that's something that I would venture to say 95% of them that start as a rookie don't have any kind of life lessons on the road of traveling around. You just kind of jump into it, and the old school of hard knocks. And we've all, if you've been doing it for any time at all, that old school of hard knocks where crap breaks down and you got to figure it out.
Absolutely. I didn't want to say it out loud. And when we were driving around the day, and I was just thinking to myself, I was like, our boat's 2 years old. I was like, we got like almost 900 hours on the engine in 2 years. And I was just like,
don't even say it.
A lot of standing, man.
I was just like, man, there's nothing. I was like, all our brakes just kind of, our calipers, our rotors, everything went out last Derby on the way back from Ozarks, got everything fixed. And I was just thinking, man, the engine has really been good, and I was like, man, why am I thinking this right now? I was like, because as soon as you think that shit, I was like, oh my God, it's going to happen.
Put it out in the universe and it comes back.
Yeah.
And you.
Yeah. So I was just like, oh, no. Why am I thinking this? But no, yeah, you're right.
As I said that, I remember looking in the rearview mirror and watching an oil bath hub do somersaults down the pavement.
Yes.
And I'm like, what was that? That's why I pulled over, just out of curiosity. I walked back there and watching it all drain out of my hubs. I'm like, that's what that was.
Yeah. No, it's Austin helped us out with we were at Ozarks. I flew Austin up, had him kind of hang out with us, and while Joey was fishing, we had to deal with trailer problems, having to figure out what's going on with this caliper. It's grinding everywhere we went. I was just like, the tires got a nail in it. It's going flat, 7 pounds a day, having to fill the tire up, having to deal with, it was just like, it's like nobody in the town could give us a hand. They're like, oh, the nails in the side of the tire. You have to replace the whole tire, and we don't have the tire here. We have to order it. I'm like, we're driving that shit back to Florida. Like, whatever. We're figuring it out, dude. We're good.
So it's just part of the fix a flat in there.
Yeah, it's just like, it's just part of the whole, life on the road. But then, you talk to 9 friends and they're like, just rip the calipers off and zip tie them back and whatever, right? They're just like, get back to Florida. You'll figure it out. But
yeah, I chained up my axle and limped her on home. Like,
yeah, right. Exactly.
You figured it out, right?
yeah, exactly. But no, man, it's a fun time. I'm in a position now at work. I'm in sales, so now at work I'm able to travel a little, and then I'm able to be at a few of these events. So I've never fished these lakes. Joey hasn't fished these lakes either. So I've always wanted to fish some of these lakes. Ozarks was always on my bucket list. Murray, I had a really good friend of mine I worked with many years ago. He's from here, so he'd always talked to me about how great Murray was. So I'd always thought about, hey man, it'd be great to fish it. So I'm fortunate that I get to travel, and Joey's staying with these other guys, with Brian and Dylan and Louis, and they're at another house. I got this house with Austin and Chris, and just fortunate that I could do these things and just travel and be around and jump in the boat. The NPFL out of MLF, the elites, any one of these other derbs, they don't allow you to fish with family. In the FLW, the old world days, we could fish with family. We could, my dad used to come with me when I fished and, ran around with the regionals and, traveled and did the BFLs and all that stuff. And he could jump in the boat and fish with me. So it was cool. Now I'm doing it with Joey, and I get to fish 3 days. I got 3 days. I caught 3 fish, out of the back of the boat with this knucklehead. So I'm excited that, at least I got to go and spend some time in the water, caught a few fish, and, and I get it. It's like everybody who bitches on the web, on social media. I can't fish behind a scoper, and yeah, it's tough, dude. It's really tough. 40 foot of water, figuring out what kind of bait to throw, jerking a jerk bait or throwing a jig and spoon or, whatever I was doing, trying to just figure it out. It sucked. It was tough fishing, but I managed to somehow, get a couple of bites, and that's just part of it,
Hey, interesting fact before I forget this, you brought something up that triggered some history here. Last time we had Dion Hibden on.
Oh yeah,
he was talking about, you were talking about not being able to fish with your family in the other leagues. Yeah. Well, it's almost like a Dion rule, because back when Dion fished the Bassmasters, he used to fish with his sons, Lawson and Peyton. Yeah, Lawson's a hammer for sure.
He came out to be real good. Yep.
Right, but Luke Clausen.
Yep, Clausen
complained about Dion fishing with his sons, And sometime around that time frame is when there was a rule change made based off of that. I don't know if it was that season, but it was somewhere in that time frame. He bought that and brought that up. So that's just a little interesting tidbit for all the viewers at home.
What do you guys know about the Luke Clausen 2006 Toho win classic? What did he do? What did he do after that? He declined to come back and fish the year after. He didn't come back after he was guaranteed to fish the next year.
Was that Bassmasters or FLW?
Bassmasters. Yeah.
Huh.
Love you.
Yeah, because he's won.
He fished the Bassmaster Classic on Toho. He won. Scroggins was like the guy that was like, the guy they were thinking that was going to get it.
Right.
And then he ended up winning. But then he was, as a Bassmaster Classic winner, you guaranteed to fish the following year. He declined the following year.
Really?
And so that was a huge controversy. And so I remember I took Joey that was the first Bassmaster Classic I took him to. And he didn't, it's 06, Joey was born or 01, and he didn't go. And so, or he didn't, that year he went, but he didn't come back, Clausen. And so I was kind of like, I don't understand what happened there, but you brought up Clausen, and I was kind of thinking that was a big deal that he didn't come back to Bass. But anyhow, I didn't know if you knew.
Looking at it in today's standard, you still got to come up with money, right?
Yeah. It could be financial. Yeah, for sure. But I mean, you think that if you're guaranteed to come back, you show up, because I think
way, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Especially for the Classic.
Now, Clausen's from the West Coast, right?
Yep. He was.
Oregon, Washington.
Yeah, I think so.
So that's a huge commitment too, like being away from family and.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you talk about Polinick. I know when he leaves, he doesn't go home for 10 months.
And he's an Idaho boy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, when I was talking to Dion, I had just ordered some Phoenix rods, and Luke Clausen was with Phoenix, and I was talking about reaching out to Luke and asking him what he recommended for a Carolina rig and for a bigger swim bait. And as soon as I said that name, it kind of triggered some bad blood. So we're in the middle of this live stream, and I didn't know they had a beef back in the day. And all of a sudden, I'm just like kind of deer in the headlights. So I'm like, oh, I stirred up some old stuff, and so I had to listen to Dion talk about it for a little bit, but I didn't dig, man.
That's what part of the podcast is for, man.
I didn't dig, man. I was a good
those likes, man. Come on, you gotta get the followers, dog.
I know, man. We definitely could have went sideways with it, but we just
that's all good.
But that's where I found out about that. And
come on, man. Fishermen are controversial, man. They don't care about this shit.
There's always
nobody cares about poking each other.
Almost every rule that's been made, there's a guy that's responsible for it. You might have to go back a ways, but you can almost dig it up. There was a tournament where something happened, and you're like, "Oh, that's why that rule was invented." Because
I think Roland Martin has
somebody did something
out of all of them. So
Roland Martin,
they made rules for me on night tournaments, man. So
do tell.
So it's funny, man. So they made rules for me that you couldn't show up. I was showing up early because I get it off work early. I was showing up early and going to fish in a night tournament and going out and pre-practicing, just run around, checking some spots. And then I was winning every derby for 6 months straight, every Friday night. It's like bam, bam, bam. And so they decided, we're gonna do this deal where you're not allowed to when you show up early, you still have to draw from a hat now. It's like, okay, whatever, all good. Who cares? So then they made a new rule where I was catching all my fish in this one location. So they decided the hourglass in the lake is no longer allowed to be fished at night. So you couldn't fish the hourglass. And then it was like, what? And
so where the boat ramp was at? Was that where you
No. The hourglass was out in the middle of the lake. So it was
that's stupid.
That was just I'm like, bro, you can fish the other side. You can fish this side, that side, whatever. It didn't matter. So it was just that kind of stuff happens. So anyhow,
Did they keep you from pre-practicing before the tournament?
Yeah. So like if you could be, if it was before noon that day, you could fish, but after noon you had to be off the water. Otherwise, we weren't allowed to fish. That tournament.
A lot of our night derbies, there's a bunch of guys that will go sit. They won't necessarily hole sit, but they'll go practice all day long.
Yeah,
and then.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to because I don't want to stick my fish because you know what I mean. You catch a 9-pounder or something, you're like, well, you're not catching that tonight.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
It just happens.
We're giving away a $25 Baitworks gift card. So if you want to get involved in the drawing, hashtag capital N, capital P, capital F, capital L. We'll let this run just for a couple minutes, and then we'll draw it, and then we'll shut her down because you guys got to fish in the morning. I mean, you don't, but I'm sure Brian. Who are you staying with?
I'm staying here at the house, man. I don't have the other rest of them they're going. I'll be out there in the morning. And I'll go mess with Big Al. I'll go mess with Big Al. Make sure he's up. Make sure he's moving. He does
a good job, man. He's a pro.
He does an okay job. Let's not pump him up too high. All right. He does an okay job. He's not really.
I got to keep these guests coming. He does a great job.
Well, is he still awake?
I asked him if he did like any type of like what was he doing before he did this? And, he said nothing. I was like, bro, you're doing pretty good, man. You got a really good gift of gab. I'm in sales. So I just, this is natural for me. I do this. So like for him, I was just like, hey man, you kind of have this whole thing going. And he's like, I just think this is like his long lost, dream of how he is.
So he's really shy and timid on the backside when he's not in front of a camera or behind a microphone, right?
Yeah, he's quick though. He's quick-witted. He's sharp on the hip. He'll shoot the pistol and come off the hip with it. He's quick, so I like it.
He's good. You got to be as an MC.
Oh
you got to be quick. I mean, you got to be witty. Things are going to happen. There's little things that happen during the day.
Improv, man. Improv. I think he's got his license for stand-up, man. I think he does.
Yeah.
One day. Yeah.
He's the same way there's an action too.
Yeah, we'll get Austin. We'll get Austin to join, man. We were joking with him earlier today. He wrote his high school paper on Joey, and his high school senior year paper for like his graduation was people who inspire you. And he wrote a deal. I didn't know it, and so he had told me, and I was like, what? I was blown away, but he wrote his deal on Joey, and I thought about it, and I was like, Joey's kind of got the dream job, I mean, he's got this opportunity where he gets to go fish for a living at this point. He doesn't work for a living. He fishes every day, and he has the ability to go and figure out these fish, but he's been doing it since he was 15 years old and he's 23. So, I expect him to do well at every tournament, and he does as well, but he puts a lot of pressure on himself to do well. So when Austin had told me he'd done that, I was like, it's pretty cool. I'm glad you did it because Joey is probably the best person that I've seen that loves to teach kids how to fish. And Austin's only one of like 7 kids that I can think of that he's taught like how to fish and really put a lot of pressure and time on. So I expect Austin to really step up in the next year, maybe 2, depends on how he gets his financial piece going. I expect you to step up and get in there. Yeah, I expect him to get up and kind of do. He's got a brand new boat. He's ready to roll. So he's got the technology. He's got everything he needs. He just needs to get the financial piece in behind him. So he wants to make money. He likes to work, actually, not Joey. He likes to fish. He likes to work. So there's a difference. But yeah.
It'll work out, man. It will.
Yeah.
You put in the time and the effort.
For sure. But no, man, it's cool, man. I'm glad you guys are doing what you're doing. The podcast has been doing good. I've been watching all your guys' stuff. You guys are doing really great. And yeah, man, for sure.
Let's draw this.
I'm thankful for being here with you guys. Do that drawing.
Let's draw it up, Buttercup. See what happens.
Let's see.
Waves 1. There we go. Baitworks.
Let's go.
Yeah. $25 gift card.
Hell yeah.
Few baits. Get you one mega bass jerk bait.
Well, you're gonna have to order 2 or 3, get that free shipping.
Yeah, that's right.
When's the last time you ordered one jerk bait?
Shit.
You got to get 50.
Yeah.
I mean,
You guys
get
you guys don't want to know what I ordered. My wife called me and said, "Hey, your big order of bait showed up, and it ain't here in where we're at. It's in Florida." So I was like, "Well, I guess it was late because I thought I had it all shipped on time." But
well, the problem with a big order, it comes in a very small box.
it's like weird. It's like all over the place.
It's like going to Walmart right now.
Yeah, it's like what the heck, dude? Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I got my I ordered some lithium batteries for my new boat. I'm going to be getting a boat here probably in January, hopefully. And
what lithiums you go with?
I went with Miller Tech.
Miller Tech?
Yeah, I got some Ionic in my John boat, and they've been fine.
Yeah.
But the guy I bought them from Stephen Estes up at Bass Fishing Electronics, he said try the Miller Tech. So we went with the Miller Tech, and yeah, you get a couple of little boxes. Doesn't look like much, but costs like $3,000. It's like, geez, those lithium are expensive. But the cool thing about lithium is you're gonna have them for a long time.
So about 6 years ago, I posted on Facebook Market a Lowrance TI unit that we had, an Elite, that I was going to sell, and I was upgrading. And a guy hit me up and said, "Hey, would you be looking for a trade?" And I was like, "I don't know what you traded." And he's like, a crossbow. I was like, "I'm not a hunter. It's not my thing." So no, not interested. I was like, "Well, what about a Dakota lithium battery?" And I was like, "No." I looked up Dakota lithium and what he was offering, and I was like, "It's not the same value. It's like off like a few $100." And I'm like, "No, I'm not really." It's like, "Well, what if I do this, the Dakota, and maybe I could talk to you about some media content for your son." And I was like, "Okay, you got me interested." I was like, "What are we talking about?" And so then he texted me some more, and turns out he's the main media marketing manager for Dakota Lithium. And so anyhow, long story short, we ended up on Dakota Lithium because Brandon Chestnut, who's a good friend of mine now, because of that, he's on their Dakota team, and Craig Thompson, who's with Dakota, who's the big boss, who's always handing the checks to every angler on, whatever walks out on stage on the Elite Series. Craig's an awesome dude. Yeah, so he's, the Dakota, ever since we got these batteries, they've been awesome, man. I'm still running the same batteries that I got 6 years ago in our boat today. And the only difference is after the Bassmaster Classic just here recently, Brandon dropped off a 315 to run all of our graphs. So we have all of our graphs, and we have 4 graphs running off that one, and it's been great. So I highly recommend that from a not just from a plug, but just from a straight how much we use them. Joey fishes 6 days a week, and he's been fishing 6 days a week for probably 6 years straight. So I mean, sun up to sundown.
Same batteries, huh?
Oh my God, dude! I'm literally thinking about it in my head. Like, I got to get new batteries because I'm just like, when are they going to die? When is the problem going to be a problem? But they haven't been. So yeah, that's kind of the deal.
They're amazing. Lithium batteries are, and
for sure.
That's a cool story, man. That's a cool story. It just shows you how things happen. Things happen.
All this industry really is.
Yeah, no, man. And Brandon's been awesome. He lives 20 minutes from my house. I didn't even realize when I, was Facebook marketing, whatever, right? And, I was just like, "Hey, meet me over here in my office," and turned out great. And he's a good, good dude. And we became good buddies. So it's awesome.
Awesome. All right. We're going to wrap this sucker up.
Wrap it up.
Yep. Nate, Austin, it was good to meet both of you guys. Man, Joey's fishing good. He's in what, 12th AOI.
Well,
He's got
hey.
got to catch a few fish tomorrow, and he's making the championship for sure.
So championship for sure. I think after this Derby, hands down, no problem. I think that he's on the right fish. I think we've had 3 days of practice. He's had about 58 pounds in 3 days for 3 days of fishing. So he's doing really well, practice wise. So our goal is top 10 angler of the year for his rookie season. That's his goal. And then next season, he's got some really good derbs to kind of go at. But every derb this season has been like a new lake that he's never fished before ever and had no time on. So it's really good to see that his versatility is, done well. And so he's put his head in the game, and he's focused hard, and I think he's going to be all right after the end of this 3 days. I think it'll be fun. I'm excited for him.
Yeah, that's just got to be exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, time for
you
bed.
Good, man. Well, you guys, thanks for your time, man. Good seeing you.
Yeah, best of luck, man. Merry Christmas, man. Happy New Year,
man. For sure. Merry Christmas.
Safe travels back home.
Yep, absolutely.
All right.